Okay, so I'm gonna share the conversation that we had and what happened when I was walking. Okay, so no, Mr. Tiny. I might have to grab him because he's barking to sit with me. Come here. Okay. The dogs have started to get excited every time they see me pick up the computer because I think they have associated it with gym workouts because that was something that we used to do together when I did garage workouts, which they would go super ape every time I opened the garage for us all to go out while I did all my little exercises out there. So now they have start screaming and getting happy when they see me pick up the computer because I did those few exercise speeches and shows. Anyway, so the conversation today, and I'm just going to be very open about the experience, although it is kind of something that maybe I should be embarrassed about, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. When I was at Big Spring Mental Hospital, part of my rebellion was that I did not want to speak and I did not want to be touched, and I was refusing to cooperate with the medical staff. And so at one point, now this has been a really long time ago, so I'm going to try my best to remember exactly what happened. Quit, Bertha. At one point, I was picked up and put in a wheelchair and taken to the bathroom, and they took my clothes off of me and gave me a shower because I was just flat out refusing to do what they wanted me to do. I wouldn't speak or anything. But during that experience, when I sat there humiliated, having been stripped of all my clothes as I was being sponge bathed, there was a lady on the staff who looked at me, and there was some kind of look in her eye that made me think that she enjoyed it. And so part of my I don't even know if I'm accurate about that, but it gave me a strange feeling when I was going through that experience. And when I saw, okay, so the connection here is the video with Ren sitting in that wheelchair and it raining on him. That is what it did to my memory when I remembered that experience. And when I saw that, it sort of was a soothing thing to me because he turned it into something that became more positive and symbolic in other areas, like the water being truth, or the wheelchair being about a wheel, Will, WILL. or this is how, this is hard to get out. It's like, is this really what I want to talk about? Anyway, in my conversation in my mind, I transformed that experience of that being like uncomfortable with the way I was being looked at when that happened into Ren's spirit was in there watching me through somebody else's eyes, and so that took me into something that sort of made me feel better, if that makes any sense. And the conversation in my head was that he thinks that I get turned on by thinking of him turned on by my own lunacy. And I guess maybe that's a two-way thing. The crazy things that you do for each other. And I don't know, but that did not come out of myself very well, and it is embarrassing to talk about, but that's what I did for a while. I refused to talk. I refused to move and all kinds of things because I got really bad shape back then, and I got more and more and more resistant with everything that was done. And it's really not something that I like to think about. It is not something that I like to think about. Laying in bed there and having to get those needles shot into me, and then having the horrible side effects. And I had to do a lot of pacing up and down the hallways because the medicine felt so horrible. It made me twitch, and my legs hurt really bad. And then I gained all that weight. Like I said, I gained more than 100 pounds over the course of that treatment. And that was definitely a punishment. And what was my rebellion about would be hard to describe. But I'm not really that same person anymore, and I can work on trying to go back to that moment and explain it better, but I don't know that I can. Okay? I didn't want to live anymore if I couldn't, in my mind, I did not think life was worth living if I had to experience having to live life all by myself without a romantic partner. And that I had already been through so much before all that happened. I don't know. It's hard to go back and describe that, and I don't know if it's a good idea to do that, but it could be, because a lot of things that I've gone back to and tried to describe, even all the way back to when I was a young child, gave me insight, which removed feelings of carrying around so much guilt on myself that I could see a bigger purpose through all of that. And then whenever I was having those shower thoughts with the wheelchair, okay, I'm calling them shower thoughts because I have that image in my mind from then of what I was doing and then Ren doing the money game. I don't remember which money game song it was, but I thought that was a way that he took a really bad experience that I had and infused love into it to revive me. Because you know what? That's pretty special if somebody can do that for you. To know to have seen you, if he really has, he says he has been inside me and with me all of this time. He already knows about it. And to be able to, where are you, Mr. Tiny? You come over here. Okay. Anyway, so on my walk, I saw 2 vehicles pass by me that had a little. Stop it, guys! Stop it! Had a little wheelchair symbol on the back of the thing. One of them was a gray van. The first one was a tan-colored truck, and then the second one was a gray van. And I'm like, it's hard for me to not get irritated by things like that because it kind of feels invasive to me. If I'm just having a thought, and all of a sudden that traffic experience happens, it makes me irritable. But I'm gonna try and work through that and put that out on the thing. And then 2 girls ran by me with short shorts on, or were on that walk with short shorts on. I wouldn't look at them. Don't like that. The thing I took out of that was that I have decided that if I want to practice my my belief system, and so I had said that women need to stay off of each other's territory in the Department of House Management and Romance. And so, you know, I don't want to get involved with anything like that. But thinking about that, I was like, I know now that my sacrifice has to be that I am letting go of that relationships, the internet relationships that I had with Lewis and Joe, because I think it's time to do that. That the way it makes me feel when Ren is talking about going to be with all these people to sing with, and it's hard for me to stay with the conversation because it makes me feel left out, and that I want to be more included. And so I think that I need to do more work with him and what he presents, and see if we can build a stronger foundation in that way. Because if I am feeling these insecurities that are causing me to feel vulnerable or worried, and I'm going to visit other people on the internet to get them to lift me up, then that's probably not a good thing for our relationship, because that's not building enough trust between us. And so I'm just going to take that risk and make that final decision today, that we're going to see how this experience goes and see what becomes of it. And being a risk taker doesn't always mean that you're 100% certain, but it means that you're going to go for it anyways. And that means that you listen to your heart and your mind, express what's going on with you to the best of your ability, and see if things continue to be an uprising or on the up and up, or however you want to describe that. And that's a daily practice. And so I've got things to do today. I'm going to finish exercising. Today's biceps. And then I'm going to finish painting. As you can see behind me, I've got one section done. And then I have this primer on the other wall. And so that the back wall is Tropical C. It is not chalkboard paint, but I am going to do chalkboard paint on the side wall, and the name of that is called Sea Glass. And I'm doing chalkboard paint on that wall so that I can write down exercises and things like that on a big wall. So here's my chalkboard paint. Okay, for that one. And do I have the other one sitting over here? This is what the back wall is. I like this paint, especially on plywood. Really good paint. Tropical Sea. Okay. Now, I do a lot of layers on there, and I like shiny paints best because they clean really well. And of course I have all those dogs, so that's part of the reason why. Keep it waterproofed. But anyway, I love you. I will always say I love you back, and we will work through everything and see how it goes. Through the nerves, through the embarrassment, through the worry, the concern, the sacrifices, the good sacrifices, and the revelations, and the singing, the writing, the construction, the instruments, anything that comes up, we will express. So, do you think we're compatible? Yes? Okay. Well, there's a mental institution story. Now, if you want to hear something that was unique to most of my mental hospital experiences, for the most part, not all of them, but at Big Spring, they had a piano there. And you wonder what a crazy person might look like. Well, that would be hard for me to tell. There were different types of people in there, and hard to judge other people when you're in that type of situation. But one of the things that we did at Big Spring was there was people who were patients who would get on the piano and play beautiful piano music. There were patients who would dance to it, and then there were bingo games and other things like that would go on. And then sometimes we would just sit outside and get some sun while music was going on. Music, it seems like it's followed me everywhere, and so it's another kind of a light to me that this musical seems like a musical life has continued to occur. But that's about Big Springs, what I'm talking about. The other thing about Big Springs was they had like a class schedule. They had that you could go to art class, you could go to music class, and yeah, there was a music class, and we just sat in there picking out songs that we liked, and I think that we played them or we sang it. It's been a long time. And then they had sports. They had volleyball courts and basketball and things like that. They had a library. there was a cafeteria, which they served 3 meals a day, and then they had a concession stand. And if you cleaned up after yourself, and you just you had to wash your own laundry and do other things for yourself while you were there. So if you did all your chores, they gave you these fake pieces of money, and then you could redeem those at the concession stand to get whatever kind of snacks that you wanted. And they had like unhealthy kind of snacks, like Little Debbie's and candy bars and things like that. I think. And then also you could get your family to send you care packages if you wanted more food. So it was, oh, what else did they have there? Oh, at one point, they said that you could get they used to drive us from, quit, Pippi, they used to drive us around from building to building on these buses, because like the cafeteria and the like, there were like college dorm rooms that you would stay in. Those were not all connected together, so they would have these buses that would take you like from your dorm room to the rec center. And what else did they have? Of course, there were fences all around it, so you couldn't escape. The first time I went to a mental institution that was here, I jumped over the fence and left. And I think I've discussed that before, and I thought I enjoyed that because I escaped, but then they came back for me. So that's a God. They were laughing because I ended up having to go back to that same mental hospital. It was called Acadia then. I had to go back to that same mental hospital again, and they said the girl that I was supposed to be in charge of watching me, one of the patients one of the patients helped me escape. I said, here, I think I said, here, hold my shoes, and when I jump over, throw them over the fence. And she did it. And then when I got returned back to that facility, they told me that the girl that was supposed to be in charge of watching me got fired. And stop, guys, stop. And then do I feel guilty about that? No, I did not want to be there. But there was all kinds of stories about that experience. Let's see. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop it for now because the dogs are getting amped up. But that's today's conversation. I've got a bunch of stuff to do. See ya. Love you, love you, love you.